Hello everybody, my name is Ben Klein. I'm the Public Relations Manager for the City of Rogers. And if you're watching this video, you followed the links or gone to rogersar.gov/Lake Atalanta repair. So today we're going to talk about some of the repairs that are going on at Lake Atalanta. And joining me is the Director of Community Development, John McCurdy. So I guess, John, just to get us started off, what's going on at Lake Atalanta?
Ben, I'll tell you, it's spring in Rogers, and for about the first time in a year or so, I'm really excited about Lake Atalanta. Things are happening down there. We are literally moving dirt. If you've been down there lately, you're starting to see some construction happen. Everything that's going on down there right now is specifically about preparing to replace the bridges. We very soon will be under contract. We've got the design basically worked out. We had some delays in the design when it first came in. We value engineered and took some of the cost out of the redesign, some things that didn't contribute to the long-term stability of the bridges or anything like that. And so right now we're to the point where we're about ready to go. And folks are going to start to see a lot of construction down there, and hopefully we'll get this thing knocked out here pretty soon.
Definitely, and it's exciting for all of us here at City Hall, and it should definitely be exciting for everyone out there watching this video. I want to talk, thinking from a citizen's perspective, because sometimes I feel like we kind of get lost because we're with it every day, and we know statuses and updates and things like that. But just to the average citizen, it had to have been kind of a frustrating process to not be able to know that there was progress happening, even if dirt wasn't moving or construction trucks weren't running, things like that. Talk about all the kind of behind-the-scenes things that had to happen before we got to this point of moving dirt. There was a lot of hoops to jump through, and we set a little bit of an example of how to do that as efficiently as possible.
Well, yeah, if this had simply been a city project, and there were a lot of city projects that came out of the flood, the big flood that was about a year ago. Had it just been on the city to fix the problem down there, we'd be done by now. When you're getting into national waterways that are controlled by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and then you're coordinating with FEMA on disaster mitigation money and all that kind of stuff, it naturally slows things down. I'm proud of the job that the city has done. Shortly, at about the same time as the flooding event, we brought on board a staff member, Jennifer Moore, to do formal project management of all the city infrastructure projects. This is standard practice in the private sector, but something that the government is slowly starting to adopt. And as a result of that, we've had our ducks in a row at each stage of this process. And I can honestly say that the City of Rogers, at least, has been prepared and ready at each step along the way. Right now, we are still waiting on some hoops to be jumped through with interagency coordination. But once we get the final green light from a couple more agencies, we'll be ready to begin construction. In the meantime, though, we are actively involved in prepping for construction. You'll start to see demolition of the broken bridges. We're cleaning up as a result of discussions that we've had with some folks that want to use the park for charitable events and things like that. Right now, we're doing some work in the park to ensure that people will always have access to the main part of the park. They will maintain a continuous loop around the perimeter of the park. Which, it could be closed for very brief periods of time from time to time, but we're talking a few days versus several months. And so we're doing everything that we can to minimize the pain to park users, to keep the park open, and at the same time get it back in better shape than it was ever in before the event.
Definitely, we've been cleaning up down there, working on some things. You'll notice over the next several weeks we've got some sidewalks coming in to help improve some of the access you were talking about. But, like John said, we're just a couple of weeks out here from really starting to really see some things happening down there. And as construction begins and starts, we just ask people to be patient with us. You know, we know you people have been patient with us for the time that nothing's been happening down there, at least construction wise. But there's been a lot of behind the scene things that we've had to complete and get through to get to this point. So we just ask for a little bit more of that patience as we go down there. We're going to keep the area as clean as possible during construction. And John, is there anything else you'd want to add on this?
Well, and just safe. I mean, we will have heavy equipment working, carrying heavy things around, and doing some things that are dangerous, and so we'll be marking off a perimeter, a safe perimeter. We ask that folks respect that, that they stay outside of our fences, and let the people do the work that they need to do to get the park back on track.
Definitely. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.